In spite of Soviet Russia's attempt to wreck it, the San Francisco Japanese Peace Treaty Conference, attended by 52 nations, moves to a successful conclusion. Final hours highlighted by John Dulles exposing Soviet plans to make the Japan Sea a Russian lake. Congressman Armstrong's presentation to Gromyko of a map showing all the slave camps in the USSR, quickly discarded by his aide. The New Zealand delegate, Sir Carl Berenson's dramatic statement of a fact the Russians overlook.
The United States, with the full cooperation of the United Kingdom, of Australia, New Zealand, and other members of the British Commonwealth, fought the Japanese for 4 years, and the Soviet Union fought them for 6 days.
A bit of blatant hypocrisy by the Polish delegate getting the treatment it deserves.
A great Englishman once said that to preach freedom of discussion is not enough. You have to practice it. If you don't practice it...
So, treaty sponsored by Britain and the United States succeeds as the signing begins. A triumph for Mr. Acheson the Russians couldn't bear to witness. They deserted the parley. For the Argentine, the Commonwealth of Australia, the Dominion of Canada, La Belle France, Communist defeater Greece, the Philippine Islands, the United Kingdom, the United States, and finally Japan. Mr. Dulles and Secretary Acheson deserve the plaudits of their country and the free world. 5 hours later at San Francisco's Presidio, Secretary Acheson and his loyal bipartisan spokesman, Mr. Dulles, with Premier Yoshida of Japan, compound the diplomatic victory scored at the Peace Treaty Conference. In the hall of the headquarters of the Sixth Army, they assembled to conclude a mutual defense pact between the United States and Japan. Mr. Acheson signs for the United States, while his prototype from across the Pacific, Premier Yoshida, signs for his empire. Former enemies becoming allies in a security pact against communist aggression in the Far East. Accepting the city's salute in Cleveland, Ohio, General MacArthur makes this observation on Japan.
In this post-war period of general failure to attain real peace, one of the bright spots has been conquered Japan. It is a Japan which may now assume the burden of preparing its own ground defense against predatory attack, and thus, in short time, release our own beloved divisions for return home.
Flash floods that accompany torrential rains make life rugged for this Greek contingent of United Nations forces fighting communist aggression in Korea. Waist deep in water, these veteran Red fighters who've never fled from communist attacks find it strategically wise to pull up stakes now. Nature's a real tough foe. Over northern Korea, rain-filled clouds fail to impede a bombing mission of U.S. Air Force B-29s. A marshalling area of Pyongyang, North Korea capital, being plastered in spite of occasional flak from red anti-aircraft guns. An emergency truck wheels to the runway to meet a returning sky giant that was slightly damaged by fire from the ground. The hits were superficial, however, and although the tail of the big ship is pretty well riddled, not even the tail gunner was hit. Just a laugh for these dauntless airmen. La'atu, the weird Earth visitor in the 20th Century Fox film The Day the Earth Stood Still, learns a quaint Earth custom. He receives a certificate of merit from the Science Fiction Convention at New Orleans. It's presented by Chairman Moore for the faithfulness of the film to the best science fiction traditions.
Urban pulchritude on parade in Atlantic City, and Miss South Dakota bids for Miss America. Same girl in a bathing suit. Miss Indiana poses a pretty problem for the judges as she seeks the laurels of loveliness. Miss North Carolina, a bright-eyed belle of the South, sir. Right fetching, I'd say. And here's Miss Utah, 5'10", eyes of blue, a blonde enchantress whose bloom and talent places her in the charmed circle. Colleen K. Hutchins of Salt Lake City, crowned by last year's winner, Yolanda Bet-Beasy, Miss America of 1952. America's reigning beauty, Queen Colleen. In Asbury Park, New Jersey, more bathing beauties vie for the title of Mrs. America. These wedded wonders are cheered on by happy husbands. Mrs. Virginia. And Mrs. Philadelphia. And a girl, Mummy, Mrs. California. And another stunning bride, Mrs. New York City, an eye-catcher who catches the eye of the judges. Easy, Buster. Mrs. Penny Duncan is Mrs. America, a 5'7" strawberry blonde, 126 pounds of heavenly homemaker, 22-year-old mother of a 2-year-old son. How about that?